This week on ANN, Adventists respond after a gunman kills 5 people in Strasbourg, France.
The Adventist Church in Inter-America takes steps towards integrating their radio and television ministries.
And an Adventist church in Brazil makes a big impact in their community.
These stories and more are coming up.
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
First in the news, the Adventist Church in the Franco-Belgian Luxembourg region has responded following a deadly attack in Strasbourg, France.
A gunman killed 5 people and injured 10 after he opened fire in a Christmas market on Tuesday, December 11. The gunman was later killed by the police in a shootout.
The Adventist Church in the region said it condemned all forms of violence, especially under the pretext of religious intolerance or the imposition of a region.
In a statement, Ruben de Abreu, president of the Franco-Belgian Luxembourg Union, condemned the acts, saying it would not be right to limit rejection and condemnation to what happened in Strasbourg. We cannot forget what is happening every day in other parts of the world in the name of the so-called religion, which has nothing to do with believers and people of peace. Our solidarity and prayers are also addressed to the people affected, the victims, and their families these days.
Abreu went on to say, "We join the families of the victims and those affected by these barbarities in wishing the survivors and the injured a prompt recovery." He continued, "The mourning of each family is shared by the Adventist Church family and all those who fight in one way or another for the defense of human rights and freedoms and the security of citizens."
Recently, media specialists met to collaborate and strengthen Seventh-day Adventist-operated radio stations throughout Inter-America with the church's Hope Channel Inter-America television network.
Abel Marquez, communication director for the Adventist Church in Inter-America, said it's important for us to lay the groundwork for the establishment of the Hope Radio Inter-America network through collaboration, inspiration, and dialogue together following our integrated media strategy plan to unify radio and television efforts throughout the territory. This is about the convergence of media ministries in our powerful commitment to the mission.
Hope Channel Inter-America coordinators and a select group of radio station staff from Inter-America Division came together to focus on brand identity and image, production guidelines, and meshing of ideas and initiatives to bolster the more than 100 radio stations operated by the region.
According to Marquez, the key is to ensure that station and media center leaders create their strategic plans based on what has been presented during the 2-day sessions.
Every Sabbath, a group of volunteers takes time to deliver packed lunches, water, books, and even clothes to homeless people.
The idea was born during a potluck for the youth at the Central Adventist Church in Belo Horizonte, Brazil, and the project has been ongoing for over a year.
The Adventist Church in South America sent this report.
Tempera daqui, cozinha dali, e como num passe de mágica, tudo fica pronto. Já o cheiro, chega a dar água na boca. Mas tudo isso tem destino certo.
Esse projeto nasceu de uma necessidade que os jovens da classe da escola sabatina tinham de fazer alguma coisa mais prática em prol dos outros. Aí todos os sábados à tarde a gente prepara marmita e entrega.
O projeto Marmitando com Amor já dura mais de um ano. 65 sábados, para ser mais exato. No começo, o grupo contava apenas com doação de alguns voluntários. Mas aí o projeto deu tão certo que a igreja resolveu abraçar a ideia. A cada sábado são necessários pelo menos 10 quilos de macarrão, 4 quilos de molho de tomate e 1 quilo de soja. Durante um ano, esse grupo já distribuiu mais de 2.000 copos de água e mais de 4.500 marmitas. Agora, faça chuva ou faça sol, eles estão lá.
Deus nunca deixou chover na hora de entregar as marmitas. Às vezes estava chovendo muito. Chegava na hora de entregar a marmita, Deus recolhia a chuva. E quando terminávamos, voltava a chover.
Depois de tudo organizado, é hora de partir. Com sacolas de roupas, livros e algumas frutas. Os voluntários caminham pelas ruas do centro de Belo Horizonte à procura dos moradores que receberão esses mantimentos.
É assim, não tem como te explicar o que eu sinto quando eu venho fazer a entrega das marmitas. E é fantástico. Deus tem trabalhado muito na vida dessas pessoas e a gente fica privilegiado de ver como que Deus tem usado a gente para fazer esse trabalho.
Tem um episódio que me marcou muito, que foi com uma senhorinha que a gente sempre passa por ela todos os sábados e a gente chegou mais ou menos nesse horário de sempre. E ela falou, nossa, que bom que vocês chegaram, porque eu não tinha comido nada hoje o dia inteiro e eu tava esperando vocês. Então pensa, esse projeto é muito bom, muito abençoado, porque ele tem continuidade, E com isso as pessoas ficam esperando, então a gente não pode parar.
A sede administrativa da Igreja Adventista para a região de Belo Horizonte lançou um livro no final do mês passado, justamente incentivando essas ações.
Bom, a nossa proposta realmente é tirar a escola sabatina para a comunidade. Como? Em pequenos grupos, em unidades nos lares e também fazendo ações sociais dentro da comunidade, nas praças, nos colégios, nos hospitais, nos presídios. É isso que Jesus espera da igreja.
Coming up, find out what happens when an Adventist church in Washington, D.C. teams up with the Adventist Development and Relief Agency in Haiti.
We may look, pray, read, think, worship, sing, and share differently, but we all look forward to the Sabbath. And we all look forward to the future when Jesus will come again. With this message in mind, we arrived at a core component for a new identity system, the creation grid, a simple 7-column structure for layout. The grid is a reference both to the prophetic timeline as well as to the creation week that culminated in the seventh-day Sabbath. Regardless of what or where you are designing, you can always find information to help you communicate that we are all Seventh-day Adventists.
May I work in with you, young fella?
Yeah. Go for it.
That's the way you do it. Got to put a little weight on it. But I'll put it back up here for you.
Welcome back.
For a week-long trip, members of the Capitol Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church, based in Washington, D.C., in collaboration with ADRA Connections, implemented a charity campaign, Haiti, We Hear You, to bring goodwill to earthquake survivors in Haiti.
In response to the humanitarian need, more than 60 people from Capitol Hill joined ADRA Connections to provide medical, dental, and vision services to more than 2,200 people in Port-au-Prince.
Members also generously paid the tuition of 200 students and distributed new uniforms and shoes, upgraded the school's courtyard, initiated the building of a Heroes mural and construction of a community center, and they donated over 2,500 medical supplies to a local Adventist hospital in Haiti.
ADRA International and Capitol Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church sent this report.
We just had some abstract idea of doing some kind of mission trip to Haiti. We have an amazing team, and I think it just shows how God works. Not just the fact of their talent and their skills, but I think the thing that really floors me is their attitude, their mindset to be of service, their willingness to allow God to use them.
That children are in need of shoes, they are in need of clothing, they are in need of underwear, they're just some of the things that we take for granted, and some of the things that we just assume are just basic for us are not basic for the families here.
I hear about this project in Haiti was from a wonderful lady called Gilda Allen. who's been a patient of mine for, I guess, about 20 years. This is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to give back, but giving back on a global scale is a little different, and I've never had a chance to do that. And when Miss Allen said, would you go, it took me all of 30 seconds to say yes. I would love to join you. Her church is not my church. And that's the beauty about a church. Church is global. Church is here in our hearts.
I wanted to do it just because I want to be of service and want to be a blessing to others. I feel that I've been tremendously blessed. And as Dr. Kelson said, to whom much has been given, much is expected. And so that has been, my feeling of wanting to give back. I also feel like I've been very blessed. God has blessed me tremendously.
This is, to me, exactly what we're talking about when we're saying this good news message has to go through all the world in a very practical way. It happens when there is total member involvement, where every talent, every resource comes together to make an impact, to show Christ and to share Christ to a community that's desperately in need.
I know we're doing our best, okay, but I have to change my best and take it to another level, okay? So I need to exceed my best. And the fact that today is my birthday is the most amazing birthday that anyone could ever ask for. I would spend 10 more birthdays like this.
Adra Connections was birthed out of an idea of what can we do beyond just, the donate button that just says donate your funds, but actually donate your time, donate your resources, donate your, maybe your professional duties. And so that is how Adra Connections has gotten started.
I guess my hopes are that we are a blessing to others.
It's just a matter of letting them know we care. We care, we're here, we'll do whatever we can while we're here, and we won't forget, and we'll be back.
I was just obedient to the instructions that God called us to do, and this is the Holy Spirit in action. And people who are open to His call are going to be able to be used by Him to do things that they never imagined that they would do. What Haiti We Hear You means is you are crying for help, and we hear you, and we are coming, and we are responding to bring you hope.
This trip, it demonstrated in such a marked way, the hand of God and how He uses us to build people so that it can give a correct representation of who He is. I really believe that this is an opportunity for us to really move beyond ourselves and to listen to the hurts, to the cries, to the pain, and to be what we and do what we can do to really make a difference so that people can really not only hear the Word of God, but to see the hand of God through our lives.
There's always something for someone to do. Don't think just because you don't have the stethoscope or you don't have a thermometer you can't do anything. That's like me saying that, you're the arms and I'm the legs and I don't need arms. Like, no, we need arms just as much as we need legs. Everyone has an important role. So you can find something to do. No one should ever be bored in a mission trip. There's always something to do. So come, you have skills, we will find your skills and put them to something.
I want to congratulate the Haiti We Hear You Adra Connections mission team from Capitol Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church, assembling a mission team of 60 men, women, young people, and seniors, all working together to serve a community in Haiti with a great need to experience the love and hope of Christ is a tremendous accomplishment. Your mission trip, which incorporated the efforts and resources of the local church in cooperation with ADRA and our Adventist hospitals, is an example of how total member involvement can work. Thank you, Capitol Hill, for your incredible mission experience in Haiti. Don't ever lose your focus on being about the work of your Heavenly Father, for soon Jesus will come. Maranatha.
Coming up, have you ever wondered how to make a video for social media? Well, Emily Mistrapa is here with some tips.
But up next, hear how the Seventh-day Adventist Church is developing in one of the world's most populous cities on the planet.
It was around noon when Peter went up to the roof to pray. It was here that Peter had a vision about a large sheet containing a mix of unclean animals, representing God's affirmation of the diversity of peoples in the growing church.
We had heard that Peter was staying at the house of Simon the tanner and were instructed by Cornelius the centurion to go out and find him.
While Peter was still thinking about the vision, the Holy Spirit told him to go downstairs because 3 men were looking for him. Peter went down and told the men that he was the one they were looking for.
We then told Peter that Cornelius the centurion had been told by an angel that Peter would come and see him at his house. So, unbeknown to Peter, Cornelius was already expecting his visit to Caesarea.
What happened here was quite unusual, just the fact that Peter entered the house. Remember that it was against the law for a Jew to associate with or visit a Gentile.
Cornelius told Peter how 3 days earlier he had been praying in his house when an angel had appeared before him.
Peter shared with Cornelius his new understanding that God does not show favoritism and is the Lord of all. This was a real turning point. From this point on, the gospel was also given among other people groups, and it all started out with prayer and fasting and a vision.
Welcome back.
Delhi, India has more than 18 million people, mostly Hindu and Muslim.
Find out how Adventists are trying to reach those in this big city.
Adventist Mission has more.
Today we're in New Delhi, capital of India, and I'm very privileged to be talking with the responsible to take care of all the churches here in the capital of India, who is Pastor Ronald Marji. Pastor, thank you for being here with us today.
I'm pleased to have you all in India. Welcome to India, and I'll be happy to share more about what you'd like to know.
Okay. Pastor, New Delhi is a big city, a challenging city. Can you describe a little bit for us about this territory and what kind of people live here?
Delhi consists of Old Delhi and New Delhi. It has a very rich heritage of wars and battles fought over here. And so the old part of Delhi, it consists mostly of the Muslims and the Mohammedans. So that's the older part of the city, having the Red Fort and Chandni Chowk. And the newer part of the city is where the Parliament and the India Gate and the other embassies and establishments have been built over here in New Delhi. And the people, Old Delhi, mostly they're Muslims, and the main religion over here, almost above 80% are Hindus. There are a lot of Sikhs, the Punjabis are over here also in New Delhi. Christianity is a little over, less than 1% over here in New Delhi. So it's a big challenge for Christians and all the more Adventists in New Delhi.
Christians are very few.
Yes.
How is the presence of the Adventist Church here in Delhi in terms of churches and membership Could you explain us a little bit about that?
We have over 6 organized churches over here. We have small companies and fellowships. Some are worshiping in rented halls, some are worshiping in homes, and so we have around 26 of those spread out around Delhi. And we have a church or a company, a group of believers worshiping in a slum area. And so we have a mix of people worshiping. We have some Burmese who are refugees who are staying over here. We have 3 churches, and they also have a very strong membership over here. So we even cater to such people.
What are some of the challenges that you face here? Because we are so few and we are trying to reach so many. What are some of the challenges today?
Challenges in the sense we face challenges when we meet people, they are very open to us. They will ask you to pray for them, so that's something very positive. But only those who are in need will ask you to pray. In general, people oppose you, but those who are in need, they ask you to pray.
What kind of activities the members or the church are doing to reach out to those people? Some specific activities?
Some of the specific activities that we do, we have small group fellowships, we have cottage meetings, and then we have our pastors visiting homes and having Bible studies with them. In the present scenario, it is difficult to have large-scale meetings because of the present government and the leadership, so we try to avoid having large meetings. But we visit homes, and we have our pastors and volunteers who are having one-to-one contact with these people who they meet as friends.
What are some of your personal dreams to grow the church here and to spread the love of Jesus to these people?
My dream for Delhi is to see that we have churches, big churches. We have churches where we have the affluent, rich people and the people of the government coming and worshipping. So I wish to have big churches. At the same time, there are a lot of slum areas where I wish to have churches over there also and spread the gospel among the people. Among the different language groups, I wish to have language group churches over here where people from North India have their worship centers, people from South India in their regional languages are able to worship. And so that is my dream for New Delhi and for the church over here.
Pastor, is there some story that illustrates how are people getting in touch and how are they applying Christ's method with people here? Is there some really interesting story about someone or a church doing something different or trying to do something to reach out to people?
I like to tell the incident of a young gentleman. I was visiting one of our pioneers, our volunteers, and as I was visiting him, he brought a church member brought a friend along and said, I have been, for 18 years, I haven't been able to sleep well. He says, I have been possessed by the devil. And so then when we prayed for him, you could really see that the devil was trying to get hold of him. But as we prayed and as the pastor prayed for him and as we prayed for him, he was relieved of the evil spirit. And so that was a real transforming experience where you could actually see how God is working in the lives of the people.
That's really beautiful. Pastor, thank you very much for this talk. It was really interesting. And may God bless your work. You have a big responsibility. May God bless New Delhi and your work here.
Thank you.
Viewers at home, today we're in New Delhi, but whether you're in the city, around the world, or in the countryside, there's always a way to do something for other people and to talk about Jesus. Pray to God and He'll show you a way. This is Flavio Ferraz reporting from Mission 360.
Watch this and other mission stories online by visiting AdventistMissions.org and then click on videos at the top.
Have you ever tried to make a video for social media, but it just doesn't come out looking or sounding like you want it to?
Emily Mistrapa is here to give a few tips on how you can make your own social media videos.
One of the best ways to reach people on social media is with videos. Video content is likely to engage viewers and ignite emotions. Videos allow you to increase the time spent by visitors on your page. Thus, longer exposure builds trust and signals search engines that your site has good content. So here are some tips on how you can create great videos for your social media pages. Of course, one way to create videos is to use a studio. You will have consistent lighting, the cameras will always be good quality, and the speaker gets to use a teleprompter. But we don't always have the option to work in a studio. And if you don't have a studio, it's just really important to find some natural light. So you can always go outside and find great natural light out there. Right now it's really cold, so if that's the problem, you can always stand inside, just be close to a window and get that great lighting through the window. And even if your only option is to use an office, you can still make it work. Just try to find some lamps or something to get lighting on yourself. Try not to use the overhead lights because that can be a little bit harsh. And just take into account your surroundings. Try to get something kind of interesting in the background. You can have something interesting on your computers, or just try to take that into account. And just remember that it's not, a video doesn't always have to be perfect, it's the content that matters. And even if you have to use a smartphone to take a video, just try to get really good content and people will appreciate it.
And finally for today's episode, let's turn to Ashley Chisholm for a look at Adventist history.
This week, Ashley shares how brave people sacrificed everything to bring the love of God to the world.
Welcome to This Week in Adventist History. On December 16th, 1898, Frederick and Rosa Mead, accompanied by their children, 17-year-old Walter and 14-year-old Lena, and joined by 7 others, set sail from London, England on their way to Cape Town, South Africa. Upon their arrival, the Meads traveled to Bulawayo, located in present-day Zimbabwe, where Mead took up the duties of mission superintendent. A little less than 3 years later, in October 1901, Frederick Mead died of pneumonia while attending a conference in South Africa. Rather than return to the States, Rosa Mead decided that she and her children would stay in the mission field. She would be buried beside her husband in 1904. The Meads were far from the only people to die in the mission field. 9 years and 4 days later, on December 20th, 1907, Thekla Frances Maud Mackey died in Calcutta, India, today's Kolkata, of tubercular meningitis. Born to Thekla Black Mackey, a long-term missionary nurse in India, and her husband John, little Thekla died at the age of 1 year, 4 months, and 28 days. And those events happened during this week in Adventist history.
Thanks for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
We would love to hear from you. Send us your feedback and tell us how your church is making a difference in its community.
Be sure to capture plenty of video footage and photos, then write up a summary of the event's important details. And feel free to send full video reports as well.
And you can reach us by sending an email to annvideo11@gmail.com.
Before we say goodbye, here's some good news from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verses 26 through 28.
And the passage says, I will give you a new heart and a new spirit I will put within you. And I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes and be careful to obey my rules. You shall dwell in the land that I give to your fathers, and you shall be my people, and I will be your God.
That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.